My next guest, Tony Perkins of the conservative lobbying group, the Family Research Council. Tony, welcome back. Let me ask you about this Times report today. Do you feel that the president came to that prayer breakfast and stressed his desire to get rid of the Johnson Amendment because you're not getting what you were looking for from him on the LGBT rollback from President Obama?
Not at all. The president talked about this throughout the entire campaign. It was in the Republican Party platform. I was on the platform committee, actually amended the platform to make clear the repeal of the Johnson Amendment. And by the way, it was reintroduced into Congress by the majority whip on Wednesday, the day before the prayer breakfast. That's the reason the president mentioned it. And it has nothing to do with money being expended on political campaigns. This is about speech. It's about allowing pastors, other religious leaders and organizations to speak freely, yes, on candidates, but more importantly about issues. We had 99 churches in 2015. The IRS opened investigations on them for various reasons. Look, where would this nation be if we did not have ministers like the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, who spoke out on political issues that were spiritual at their core?
Right.
And that's what we're talking about here.
Okay, but any religious leader can say whatever he or she wants to say, including politically, but you're asking me as an American taxpayer to continue to provide you with a tax-exempt status as you do so. I mean, right now, I as a taxpayer am supportive of all of the efforts of all of the churches in this country. But if they get political, I don't think it's fair for me as a taxpayer to continue to provide them that benefit.
It depends. Look, we have issues that are inherently moral and spiritual. Life, human sexuality, marriage, those are spiritual issues. They've been made political, and so what we have, like we saw in Houston a few years ago, where those issues were declared strictly political and pastors had their sermons subpoenaed by government officials. Look, these issues predate government. The church predates government, and long-standing tradition in this country has been, until the 1950s when the Johnson Amendment was added, was that pastors and churches can speak freely. I mean, this goes back to the Apostle Paul, or Apostle Peter and John, who said, look, you're not going to regulate what we say. We're accountable to God, not to some government bureaucrat. Okay,
final point. I don't know that it says this in the good book, but I remember hearing, be careful what you wish for. Has it occurred to Tony Perkins that in a case like this, you could be outflanked by liberal churches and liberal nonprofits who then get politically energized?
Michael, I have defended liberal churches' right to speak when George W. Bush's administration opened an investigation on them. I believe in the freedom of the pulpit to speak what it declares biblical, no matter if it's left or right.
Okay, and I agree with you, and I believe in the ability of anybody to speak their piece. But whether I, as a taxpayer, should be subsidizing it is a different question. Tony, thank you as always. I appreciate your being here.
All right, Michael.